Hello guys and gals, me Alex, and welcome to another review video, ladies and gentlemen. Usually I'm not really big into doing these kind of things most of the time, but I thought I'd give it another shot. I've been playing a game quite recently. It's obviously, as you can see behind me, it's called Heat. I want to kind of give my initial review on the game because it's still in early access, and I feel like this game still got quite a bit of potential, but I kind of want to just lay things out for those that might be new to the game, might want to, give the game a try. We'll get all into that in a minute here. I kind of want to arrange this video a little bit better than me just kind of going all over the place. Clean up the little odds and ends, essentially. Do as probably a little bit more professional about it, I guess. But ladies and gentlemen, this game is an early access game, unfortunately. I made a little rant on about early access games for a while. And even though, I do like beta testing games here and there, I kind of don't like the whole fact that developers will, throw out a half-ass game and apply it to saying, oh, this isn't the final product, even though there's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of issues. We'll fix it, don't worry. We just want to, draw you in, which understandably is a proper or a good tactic to how to, get in a new crowd to your game. Well, luckily, this game isn't shit right off the bat, but this game does come with a little bit of so-called consequences, I guess you could say. So, I'll show you guys the main page here. Actually, let me stop the video just to be safe on the whole copyright law issue. I don't want Heat dangling with my balls later, but we'll get to that a little bit later, ladies and gentlemen. But over here, obviously, Heat is still an early access type of game. I haven't given my my written review. I kind of decided to do with the video. It's 2019, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a blogger for all I care. I'm just some Indian dude talking about video games, man. I'm just that simplistic, I guess you could say. But this game comes with a lot of mixed reviews. Developers, a code hatch. I haven't really looked into them too much. They're probably one of those kind of there is an indie game regardless how you look at it. But the initial concept of how this game plays is essentially, it's like Ark. The best way to explain it is essentially Ark, but old-time Western style. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can be expanded, such as vehicles, so on and so forth. A little bit more, I guess, animals in this sense. That's getting a little nitpicky and gritty, but honestly, we'll start off with the pros. This, I must say, is a wonderful game. It's a great game. It's fun. It's pretty much, if you love survival games, this is anything Minecraft based on. If you can sit there and play vanilla Minecraft, normal Minecraft, as I don't know what the kids are calling it these days. If you play normal Minecraft, no mods or anything, you just play just to have fun, and you like that kind of survival-based kind of games, this is a game right up your alley, regardless. And honestly, it's got quite a good, unique side to it. It's not, there's a point in time. You remember the era when we went through? I think it was back in 2017 or 18. I couldn't remember too ideally. Leave a comment in the comment section below reminding me of the year that was. Maybe it might be 2016. I don't know. Anyway, essentially, the best way to explain it was there was an era we went through where survival games were the norm. There was a point where Minecraft just kind of sparked back up again, where it unleashed like a big update, and then all of a sudden all these survival-based kind of games started, very grindy survival type of games started gathering all together, and it's like, hey, shove it down your throat, you gotta like, this is the new style of games. That's pretty much what Battle Royales is of 2019, if you really think about it. That's the best way to sum it up. There was a time where survival games were the top shit, and I'm not gonna sit here and say survival games are crap. There was a point I did not like survival games. I don't know why. I just didn't care for that grindy feel. I preferred the hack and slash games and racing games, really. And honestly, they're still my favorite genre of games till today. But survival games have grown on me because yes, obviously, I played Minecraft for many hours. I played other survival-based games, but for some reason, Heat just it just got to me after a while. And plus, it was kind of like, okay, I can finally sit down and learn a game without getting bombarded so quickly by other players. Because, yes, although this game is a very hefty, I believe, hold on a second, if I just double check here, I don't want to give you an incorrect amount now. Yeah, the game is about 70 gig storage wise. Gigabytes, if I may, ladies. Not megabytes, just gigabytes. So yes, this is a very, very, very heavy game to install. Usually I'm not a big fan of these kind of take a fat shit kind of low, pretty much anything that downloads anything over 50 gigs, you better have some good content to back it up. Now, obviously, you got something that you gotta prove, and you need that storage to pull it off. I agree. If you're gonna have a good product, you deserve to take up pretty much 100 gigs. If you a terabyte, if you got pretty much, you could turn my 1080p into 4K. I will take it. But ladies and gentlemen, luckily this game did not essentially look like shit. Yes, there are many, many, many things that can be worked on. Obviously, the game is still in early access. It's got it. It just needs to work its time, but this is where it comes down to. Actually, you know what? We're gonna still read about the game. Obviously, the game is an environmental type of base game. You're up to there are 20 biomes in heat spread all over 67 kilometers, 67 kilometers to world, each with its own sub-biomes and explore and development unique way to create dense forest floors, which is okay. So essentially, the best way to sum that up for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, without boring you to death with reading all of this, I just realized I'm boring myself to death, honestly, is essentially you get up to 20 unique biomes. The only biomes I've explored so far since I started playing. Note, I've been playing this game for about 2 weeks, I believe. I've been playing with some friends, and you know, it gets you going or very well into the game as it is. You have that typical chest stockpile kind of deal, but in this circumstance, I guess it's more of an actual. It's like an actual. I forgot what they're called. It's on the tip of my tongue. Essentially, it's like a big barrel or long thing that they use for garden planting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's I can't remember that for the life. Oh god, it's gonna ruin me. Anyway, essentially, you can it's like chests, but just in a different fashion. You can add things on top of it. It's like a big old crate, and the best way I can try to analogize it. Yeah, it's like you're just stacking a bunch of stuff into a crate, and crafting items in that game, it does get a little complicated. Like I said, it's still an early access type of deal game. It's gonna have its bugs, obviously. And items, yes, they do tend to have their bugs. Sometimes if I craft an item, it doesn't even show up in my inventory till like 5 minutes later. But hey, at least I got it. It's not like it didn't get it and I have to bitch about it to the server manager or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy that's like, well, listen, man, you stole it from me. No, it's simple. The game obviously still has way too many bugs to be super released out and be like, hey, this is a solid game. It's not a solid game, but hey, it's got work to do. Anyway, we still got farming and cooking, pretty much the basic essentials you would expect out of any survival game. Yes, your hunger base is there. Unfortunately, it's not too heavily in effect, I would say, although I will say one thing I've learned, and my buddies and I pretty much all agree on: coconuts are your best friend. Coconuts are life, love and life, the best way to put it. But essentially, yeah, it's something that can be worked on in the future. Although, like I said, you know, the main issue when it comes down to these kind of survival games is that hunger and, you know, the cooking part. I understand the cooking aspect, but in like really, really heavily, you know, encouraging the hunger status and, you know, constantly like, oh, you can't really do anything, can't even build upon your house because you're almost about to die, so you have to go get food, and when you don't have tools, it kind of just crumbles upon you. So far, it's not super intense. I'm not really keen on the whole drinking water thing. I don't think it really affects you at all, but again, coming from someone that's played it for a little over 2 weeks, yeah, like I said, it's got bugs. It's got bugs, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it's going to come down to. That's probably the biggest con of this game in all aspects. You have the building and crafting, typical every survival game down to its freaking bare bone discount edition of Minecraft. There's a crafting. That's the point of these survival games in genuine aspect, they're all about the crafting. They're all about just surviving and building a house, surviving till the end game, or whatever the premise of the end game may be. So yeah, obviously this doesn't even, this should be standard. At least I got this part down the most in the game, and I gotta say, kudos to you lads and lassies for, you know, nailing that much on the game, right? Anyway, mountains, livestock, and wildlife. Again, this shouldn't even be its own category. This should be under building and crafting. But hey, I understand that whole aspect of it. We'll skip over that one. Okay, so we got building, crafting, survival. That we all know that's what this game's all about. I pretty much have been explaining that this whole time. Go forth and multiply. Yes, that is something you can do. Yes, you may breed with other females or males, whatever your gender character. It's obviously the opposite sex. Obviously, this game has an issue with. I'm just kidding. We're not gonna get in that territory. We're not. We're continuing, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, yes, you can have children. You do have to take care of them, which I gotta say, it does put a whole different responsibility, which is kind of cool because the more kids you have, essentially, I guess you can make it almost anything you possibly want. You have your family. You can roleplay that. You can maybe make an army. You can do, I don't know, you can go on more raids and stuff like that. You know, that kind of aspect. And they work good as NPCs, which is so cool. Speaking of NPCs, there is a possibility when you start the game, you can go ahead and become president. I don't recommend doing that right off the bat because, you know, there's obviously players that are going to be more well-equipped to take your ass out, and honestly, they probably wouldn't care. You can be the president, though, which is pretty cool. Give you a dope suit. And yeah, just some extra privileges, and I think that's about it. Nothing too super exciting, but hey, it's a privilege, at least at the end of the day. Super easy. You just pretty much go to the White House area, click a button, and voila, you just wait. Kind of have the election, essentially. But yeah, you still have your typical road building, seats of power. What is that? Yeah, that's essentially your government base, which is pretty cool. You actually have you not only have this trading type of bin, correct me again in the comment section, but essentially you can buy and sell things from it, or it's like a post box or something like that. It's actually a pretty cool concept because not only do they allow you to sell back, like, okay, say you go out and you get a bunch of sticks, for instance. You come back and you could sell it, have money, and start buying different things. Things aren't cheap, though. And I must say, for a game to influence that kind of concept, the best way I can say is like any type of store base in any game, especially nowadays, and again, this is in 2019, where microtransactions are the norm at this point. Every game that's online based kind of gravitates right to the whole microtransaction thing, and I really, really, really hope this doesn't end up being like that because, again, this game's got potential. Don't ruin it with the whole microtransaction thing. I get it; it's an easy way to make money, and it's effective. It really is. But don't taint the game that way. Leave the game how it is. Don't ram like, hey man, eat my loot boxes, boyo. And no, don't do that. That's how you end up just ruining a good game, a good title, if anything. And that's the thing. This game could be up there, but we'll get into the cons later because there's a whole concept where I can get into. But anyway, you have the combat and capture. I believe you can. Yes, you can. You obviously have weapons. You can set up traps and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. You have your typical character customization. Oh yeah, and I should probably mention the whole mature content description. Yeah. I understand where that's coming from, considering it's a survival game. You never know, you might slip a titty or something. You never know. But the lovemaking thing, don't worry, it's not super graphical. Actually, it isn't graphical at all. So you don't have to worry about that if children want to get into it. But I get it, you know, mature content description, obviously. And this is your common, you know, your requirements, which is, you know, I would expect that out of this game. Although, like I said, the game does tend to have its unfortunate bugs. And this is where we get into the cons. You know how I kept saying that this game has potential and it's going to become something? That's where it becomes doubtful. Because, like I said, it's 2019. everybody and their mother right now has battle royale games. Even the end, like middle of 2018 or even the beginning of 2018, battle royales started getting into that motion. It took the place of survival games, and now survival games, you'll be lucky to find a few people still playing these kind of games. And even if it's like a small community, it's a good small community, and they gravitate towards with each other, and they just become a great survival game based type of community, which is great. But everybody is kind of gravitating now to the battle royale aspect, and they're really, really pushing it. And especially with the microtransactions, like I said, honestly, this game, I could see it doing the microtransaction thing. Why? It's a survival based game. If you're gonna try and compete in today's economy, when I say economy sense, it's you can't survive a game that isn't just about a simple storyline. Look at The Last of Us. Look at Far Cry. A lot of those games weren't super online based, and they didn't push microtransactions because there was nothing to buy into. A survival game, they're definitely going to push out cosmetics. That's a no-brainer. And essentially, I wouldn't doubt you get skin for guns. Who knows? It might be pay to win even at one point. You could pay to membership to be a president or something. It's like I said, it's got these routes to go bad, and essentially it could be the angel of all games. But it's gonna want to go and dip its toe in a little bit of trouble once in a while. That's essentially how I see this game's gonna end up. It's going to dip its toe into the microtransaction scene, see it's very profitable to help them out, push a shit ton of cosmetics out, and watch it's gonna end up just... They're not gonna give a fuck about the game afterwards. What's the point? You're buying the skins anyway. You're all just running around the jungle fucking in your pimpin' purple suit with polka dots. I don't know. I'm just... You see my whole concept, though, ladies and gentlemen. And the worst part of it all, and this is what really, really, really makes me think this game, unfortunately, doesn't have a chance, and I really hope it does. I really, really do, ladies and gentlemen, because this game is fun, regardless how you look at it. Whether it still be buggy, it's still fun to play with some friends. It's always better to play with friends. In this circumstance, playing with other players in this game is really fun. You realize you make enemies and then you end up being friends with them down the road. It's interesting. It really is interesting. But the main thing I think about this game that won't let it survive, especially today's age, is because survival games no longer have a place in our gaming community. Okay, let me rephrase that in a better sense. This game genre now, the whole survivalist kind of thing, it's dying. It's died already, and the problem is trying to revive it, and especially in an age where now battle royales are kind of like just on the norm right now. They're kind of staying up here. You have a game that used to be at that same level, and then just kind of dropped because this one took over. Yeah, you're trying to make that little extra step, and I'm sure other game developers are trying to push it too. And who knows, maybe these games might make an amazing comeback when it comes down to. I mean, 4K is becoming the norm now for the people in this day and age. It's becoming more, very realistic. Components are getting better every day. If this game can pull off an RTX and make you feel like the blades of grass are brushing against your goddamn legs, whoo! Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you got yourself a state-of-the-art game at that point. This game, unfortunately, in today's age, no. It doesn't. It just does. It can't survive, especially with now, and especially if you're sucking up 70 gigs of my storage space. You better have something best to support yourself on. I would have understood if this game was more in the $50 range, but you're supplying me with 20-something biomes. Yeah, and the best part is everything regenerates after a while. Some servers reset. They save themselves, but honestly, it's interesting to see how far they will go with this. Honestly, I really do truly hope for the best of it. It's still fresh. It's still new. I do recommend giving it a shot. If it is $20, unfortunately, just to reinstate that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it is $20, unfortunately. Maybe a $10 game probably would have been better, but you obviously know the hard work that was put behind it. And I really do hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel for this game. I hope it at least can break the surface of anything. And yeah, I just really hope for the best of it, but unfortunately, in the logical and more sensible way of looking at it, it doesn't stand in a very good position, and I don't think it's going to survive very well. But I will say at the end of all of this, it's a great game. Recommend giving it a shot. It's super fun playing with friends. But ladies and gentlemen, I've rambled on long enough. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope to see you all in the next one. Hope you like what you saw. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it, and I'll see you all later.